And welcome back to another episode of the Financially Fit Podcast. I am your host, Andre Creighton. And as always, I'm excited to be with you here today. Last week, we talked about cash flow and how that uh, evolves within your business and how we should be tracking that. And today, we're going to talk about why hiring matters and when you should hire. But first, I want to thank everyone that continues to listen and plug into our podcast. Thank you so much. Our numbers are increasing every single week. Thank you for sharing with others. I want to encourage you, if there still are other business owners that should hear what we're talking about here on this podcast, please feel free to um, share this with them. Let's create a domino effect where we're helping all business owners, founders, entrepreneurs become more successful and reach scalability and growth by developing the fundamentals that they need to continue to push their business forward. And if you're new, thank you for being here today. I hope that you get something fruitful out of our conversation today. So, without further ado, let's hop in. So, you know, I think one of the hardest things to do when you are a founder or entrepreneur, maybe you've been doing it solo yourself, or maybe you've been doing it with a friend, or maybe it's your spouse or significant other. And what I find is that when it's something you've created, it's so hard for you to let go of because it's become your baby, right? You want to see it through. Only you believe that only you can do it the way that you operate the business, and it's so hard to let go and delegate to others. But what I'll tell you, at some point, you can't do it all yourself. But hiring too soon or hiring wrong can drain your business fast. So there is an important balance here, and we need to be conscientious of that balance. So today, we're going to break down how to know when it's time to hire and how to do it in a way that strengthens your business instead of draining or stressing it. So, why does hiring matter? You might ask yourself this. So, hiring is one of the biggest expenses and biggest growth levers that you can have. Um, Hiring the right people can help your business scale and grow very rapidly. Hiring the wrong people can drain and push the people that are already in your business out of the business, right? So it can really affect your culture. So it's really a very tough decision. But there's some things that we can do with intentionality that will help us as we think about how we want to hire. So wrong hire will equal costly mistakes, time, money, morale. Right hire is a growth multiplier, frees you up, improves service, and drives revenue. So, the fitness analogy that I have for you today is think of hiring like adding spotters or training partners. You can lift more weight, but only if you add the right people at the right time. So, you can lift more weight, but you still need a spotter. You need someone there to help you maybe get through those last couple of reps. Maybe you're on the bench press, right? That's the same thing here. You've taken it as far as you can go with your own capabilities, and now you need to step out and trust someone else. That's the same thing you're doing when you have a spotter. So here are the 5 steps to smart hiring. One, identify the bottleneck. What tasks are stealing your time and slowing growth? Ask yourself, if I freed up 10 hours a week, what revenue generating activities could I focus on instead? So we really want to get to the core of what is causing the strain on the business. If I could free up some of my time, what would that do to my business? Not only is that quantifiable, but also there's qualitative data in that, right? That could mean, hey, it takes less stress off of me so I can show up at home better than I have been. Maybe it's, hey, our revenue is going to increase by 5 or 10% because I hired a marketing person that can actually be able to reach my intended audience and my ICP. So we want to hone in on what is the bottleneck. We want to identify that. And we want to know what is going to be derived from this hire. The second thing is decide contractor versus employee. Contractors offer flexibility, project based, and are low risk, right? Because if they don't work, you can just let them go, right? it's a lot easier to let a contractor go. And oftentimes contractors aren't embedded in your culture. Like, yeah, they may come around. Maybe they're if they're local, they might come around and be around your team or working with your team. If they are remote, they're probably less ingrained in your culture, but maybe they're still meeting with your team virtually and doing some of those things, right? But they're not the core of your employee base. So lower risk, and it provides a lot of flexibility. Employee, obviously, more stability, more loyalty, long-term growth, right? So this is someone that we're investing in. We're investing in this person. We're building them up. We're providing them with the playbook for our company for whatever role they're doing, and we're hoping that they can help take us to the next level and free up others' times, right? So we can be able to continue to push the business forward. So regardless of what you do, whether contractor or employee, we want to start small. We want to scale into employees when workload is consistent. So we want to make sure that we are making the right hires at the right time, and it's really an art. It's more of an art than it is a science. So number three, sorry, I got a little bit of a code here. Number three is versus pay or budget for payroll, right? So the rule of thumb is payroll shouldn't exceed 30 to 40% of revenue for small businesses. That's so important. And this goes back to some of the prior episodes where we talked about forecasting, understanding your cash flow, and all those things. Like this is a piece of that, right? So now we're getting into we talked about the foundation, cash flow, forecasting, budgeting, etc. And now we're talking about more of the branches of that foundation of that tree, right? And how does that sprout? So we want to make sure that does not exceed 30 to 40%. Don't hire until you can pay consistently for at least 6 to 12 months. So we want to hire people to invest in them, but we also want them to know that they have stability, right? Because the worst thing that we can do is hire someone it's unstable. We're not able to meet payroll, right? That's a poor reflection on your business. uh, Word passes around very quickly, and two, uh, it's just not a good way for your employees to have psychological safety, right? Psychological safety is so important, and sometimes money ties into that psychological safety because they may have families, they may have other endeavors that they want to pursue personally that are tied to them bringing in a consistent paycheck. So we want to be conscious of that. Number four is hire for impact, not convenience. So don't just hire to take things off your plate. Now, while that's important to figure out what is this taking off my plate, what additional capacity is this providing me? We don't want to just hire just to take things off your plate, right? We want the hire to be impactful on growth. So we want to hire roles that directly drive growth, revenue, or customer experience first, right? It's so important. We talked about our first 100 customers. We talked about providing them a good experience and how word of mouth travels with your champions of your customers. So we want to make sure that we are providing that customer experience first. We want to make sure that employee is driving growth, and ultimately that turns into increase in revenue. So hiring is for impact, not convenience. Number five, build a simple system. So we want clear job description, what success looks like in the role. We want people to understand exactly what they should be doing. That doesn't mean that it doesn't evolve over time, right? But we want to be very hone in on what they're doing from day one, right? And we can expand the role as they get integrated into the company. But we also should be defining, what does success look like? Does it mean, hey, I want you to hit 90% of your quota if you're a sales rep, right? And does that mean that for marketing we want to increase our user base, or we want to increase our engagement across our social media or website, right? Some of that SEO stuff. Does it mean that, hey, I'm hiring a finance or accounting person, I want my books closed monthly +5 within 5 days after month close, or I want a rolling forecast that's going to be able to tell me exactly where cash flow is at all times, right? We want to define what does success look like in those roles, and we want to make sure we're crystal clear on that. We want an onboarding checklist. So we want tools, training, and we want them to understand, what is our culture? What are our pillars? What are the things that we care about? What are the things that are non-negotiables that we want to that we implement within our company that every employee should know and should be the driving force of how we operate. And then the last thing is a feedback loop. So we want regular check-ins. We want to be able to provide feedback on how employees are doing. We want them to be able to provide feedback on things that we could be doing better or things that leadership team could the leadership team, excuse me, could be providing to them that will help push the culture and the company forward. So we unpacked a lot there. I'll go back through them really quickly. So one, we want to identify the bottleneck. How does this free up your time? What does it do for growth? We want to decide, number two, should it be a contractor? Should it be an employee? And understand the two differences. Three, we want to budget for payroll. So we want to be able to forecast out our employee base and our key hires. Four, sorry, we want to hire for impact, not convenience. So we want to make sure that we are hiring the right people at the right time, and it's not just for convenience for me to take a step back and not push growth forward, right? And then lastly, we want to build a simple system. So we want people to understand exactly what they should be doing. We want to provide a 360 feedback loop where people understand and are getting constructive criticism on the things that they can improve on, but also being able to provide them and celebrate the things that they are doing really well. So I'll ask you, as always, we have a reflection exercise. So my ask of you this week is, what's one task you're currently doing that drains your energy but doesn't generate revenue? So I'll say that one more time. What's one task that you're currently doing that drains your energy but doesn't generate revenue? And then secondly, what would hiring or outsourcing this task free you up to focus on? So what would hiring or outsourcing this task free you up to focus on growth? Um, So as you're thinking about those things, your action steps should be make a list of 3 roles or tasks you delegate first, then run the numbers. Can your business afford it right now, or do you need to grow cash flow first, right? So this goes back into some of that projecting and forecasting and having a rolling forecast. Like we want to understand, is this new hire going to stretch us too thin from a cash flow perspective, or are we at the point in our cash flow where it makes sense that we should be hiring? So to wrap up, smart hiring isn't about growing fast; it's about growing strong. So every role should strengthen your business, like adding muscle, not weight, not weighing it down like a extra piece of baggage, right? So we want to make sure that while it's important for us to grow, we don't want to grow too fast. Every role should really be strengthening our business, and then at the end of the day, we don't want to carry on more baggage. So that's very important as we are thinking about how we continue to scale our company. So our next episode, we'll talk about feeling the future. So this is funding and financing options, how to power your growth without draining your savings and giving away too much equity. This is a key topic for a lot of entrepreneurs today, as we're in an environment where, we are seeing some interest rates cuts, but it's been a very tough environment for a lot of people. And oftentimes, when rates are high, even with some of the cuts coming expectedly, we don't know. Financing options can be a little bit of a strain for a lot of companies, right? Especially if cash flow is not going well. So we're going to dive into this topic. We're going to give you guys some options here. And, at the end of the day, my call to action to you is, if you found this episode valuable, share it with another founder and hit subscribe. Let's keep building financially fit business together. So I want to make sure that you are getting the fitness that you need in your role as a founder entrepreneur to be able to push your business forward. So I'll leave you with some resources. Um, there are a lot of resources out there where you can go and find contractors. So, Upwork is a big one that people use. There's the ability to find contractors all over the world, whether in the US or other countries. So I encourage you to check it out. It's certainly been a great resource for me as I've been doing, various things over the years. And I often find that there's really, really good talent out on Upwork that is not always spoken for. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning into the Financially Fit Podcast. I am your host, Andre Creighton. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you all next week on the next episode of Financially Fit. At the end of the day, I always say it's not about how much money you make. The power is in how much money you keep. Thank you.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast-quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.
To keep my home running smooth, I count on Xfinity Internet. With 99.9% reliability, we're all online at once. No slowdowns. The Xfinity app lets me manage our Wi-Fi and keep things secure. Xfinity makes it easy.
When she walked in on her first day at Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas, she didn't know a soul.
I'm Zion, and I'm a second year at DFC.
A year later, and so many changes for Zion.
I love my friends here. I couldn't do anything without them. We support each other all the time.
At Doherty Family College, Zion also finds support on the academic side. Like all DFC students, Zion can count on a team committed to her success. Doherty Family College is Minnesota's affordable private college option. DFC students earn their associate's degree and then can transition to a 4-year college or university for their bachelor's. Many are students of color or first in their family to go to college.
It's nice to see people that look like you pursuing an education, wanting to succeed academically.
Zion encourages any high school student looking for a college home to do what she did and apply to Doherty Family College.
All the support you could need is here.
Ready to make your move and experience Doherty Family College for yourself? Then schedule your visit to the Minneapolis campus at dfc.stthomas.edu/visit.